What we're doing here is we're going over the Hydrates Lab assignment where you needed to calculate the theoretical percent of water in the compound Epsom salt. And again, when we say theoretical, we mean that you just did a paper and pencil calculation. And then you needed to record the mass of a hydrate before and after heating it to compare the actual percent of water. So we're going to go through how to calculate the theoretical, or just, on paper, how do we calculate the percent of water in a hydrate. And then we're going to take a look at the data that you should have created when you performed the lab last Wednesday, right? So in looking at how to do, doing the percent composition, this might be a useful chart for you to copy down. So I'll let you pause the video here and copy down the chart if you'd like to. Otherwise, we're going to get started looking at the percent of water in this compound. Now, of course, we're going to want to go through and basically list the elements that are present, right? So we've got magnesium, we've got sulfur, and we've got oxygen. Now, we also have hydrogen and oxygen, but that hydrogen and oxygen I'm listing at the bottom is coming out of the water, okay? Now, we look at how many are in the compound. So there's only one magnesium, there's one sulfur atom, there are 4 oxygen atoms. Now, using the coefficient, okay, to find out the number of hydrogen atoms due to the 7 water molecules, well, that's 14 hydrogen atoms. I'm going to multiply there, 7 times 2. And then there are 7 oxygen atoms, okay? Now, I'm going to look up the atomic mass off the periodic table. I know the mass here is 24. I know the mass here is 32 for sulfur. Oxygen is 16. Hydrogen is 1, okay? And then oxygen, once again, is 16. Like that. Now, I rounded these to a whole number because with the atomic mass, remember, you can round that to a whole number. It's okay. Now, the mass subtotal, this next column, is essentially where I multiply the first 2 columns. There's 1 magnesium atom, so the subtotal for magnesium is 24. 1 times 24 is 24. Same thing for the sulfur atom. The subtotal there is 32. Now for the oxygen, there are 4 oxygen atoms. So my subtotal is going to be 64. There's going to be 14 for the hydrogen and then 112 the oxygen here. Now, once I have the subtotal for each element, I want to add all of these together. I'm going to add them together, and that's going to give me a total of 246. Okay? 246. Now that I have the total mass, let me add up the mass due to the water. Normally in this step, when we're doing the percent composition, normally you would then say, all right, 24 divided by 246 times 100. But in this case, we don't have to do that because we're not looking for the percent of all of the elements. We're looking for the percent of water. We're looking for the percent of just the water. So let's add up the 14 and the 112. We end up with 126. Okay, 126 divided by the total 246 times 100. Okay. Now when we calculate this, what we end up with is something like 51% water. So that 51%, that's the theoretical. That's the theoretical. We just calculated that. That's the theoretical, okay? Now, let's skip this. Let's take a look here, okay? This is some data that might look similar to data that you generated. Again, if you did this lab on Wednesday, you have your own data. utilize your own data, but essentially, in order to get the actual percent of water, what you want to do is you want to take the mass of the hydrate after heating, okay, 0.48 grams, divided by the mass of the hydrate before heating, so that's 0.99, and we're going to multiply by 100. Okay. Now, when we do this math, what we end up with is something closer to 48.5%. Now, clearly, this amount, this 48.5% of water is lower than the 51 we had calculated before. What does this mean? This means that when we were done with that lab, we obviously had more heating than we should have done. Okay, so we didn't get back all of the water that we should have. We could have heated it for a little bit more to get that final percent of water. All right, so hopefully that helped you do the calculations here. If not, certainly ask questions. I'll see you guys later.